Good afternoon, everyone. So it is December the 21st. Winter is officially starting, and it's the Winter Solstice, and it's been overcast today and in the 60s, and for an old fat man, that's feeling pretty good. These bear pots up here that are covered with the ash, and that's to keep a cat that I've had that started deciding each one of my pots was a cat tray, box, whatever you call them things. But anyway, I put the wood ash over it. It's also nutrients and whatever, and the cat won't dig in it then. The moringa had buds on it coming back out, but the freeze the other night kind of got them, and you can see the kratom over there have finally gotten bitten back pretty well. Where I was alerted to the problem with the cat was I had planted the elephant garlic, and it was back over here at that time, and the trays got turned over, and what I found out was the cat would poop in them, and Diddy was eating cat poop and turning the pots over in the process. So Diddy doesn't like wood ash either, and like I said, it stopped the cat from just digging to start with. This is the horseradish that I took up a couple of weeks ago, and I made another pint of horseradish sauce for the house, and made up, I believe there's 5 pots that I got, divided it up and had a root or two to share around, and most all of them have good sign coming back on them. And since I've been doctoring on the pH of the water, most of my plants are really looking way better. My bougainvillea back here is coming out and got some pretty color on the leaves, and I'm hoping I'll see some flowers on it before long. The purple shamrock over there has done well, getting some good color back in, some new growth on the beetle leaf. But the kratom's up in here, and I say kratom's, this is the yaba mates. I have some little ones of those, but with most of my kratoms, there's still 1 or 2 that I don't know why that is, but I've seen it in other plants that it can be right in the middle of a whole bunch that really have good color, and then you got one that's just going to stand out for some reason, and I don't know, like I said, why that is that way, but mutations or whatever. But whenever they're getting the same nutrients and the same water and all that in pots side by side, like I said, it's beyond me, and I may have known at one time. The yaba mates back here that are growing up into the kratoms are doing real well. They got cold a night or two, and one of them shed more leaves than the other. But my crown of thorns have some blooms on them, not as much as usual. I don't know why that is. They're not as frisky as they have been in years past, and have still had all the warmth and everything else. As far as it goes, they've been probably a little warmer than normal during the winter time, and the color's still not very good on a lot of these, but it is, if you look at the 2 videos that I have done recent in the past about the pH and all, you can start to see the difference in them. And if you compare it side by side, I know that I'm in here every day, but I really don't look close every day. And or when I do take the time and just really look, I can sure enough see some difference, and that they are looking much, much better. And the color is so much greener. And for it to be, you know, the shortest day of the year today for sunlight and all, which we're still here in South Georgia, I get better than 10 hours of sun a day. And then I do restrict it some, what with the shade claws and all of that. But this was one I was really worried I was going to lose, but it is coming back a great deal and picking up some color, and they'll do better in a month or two whenever I repot them, cut them back. I plan on really just butchering the tree to a stump and then repotting, and I think they'll do better. They haven't, some of them now have been in those big pots for almost 2 years without anything more than just a little top dressing and the spray and grow, and being hit now and then with a little bit of miracle grow. Been eating a few of the mulberries off of the bushes. Ones in the yard aren't looking well, but it'd be to see how they come back out. I had rooted these to keep and see what happens with the ones in the back. I'm fixing to try and run the pilot lights to the first of the year. Right now the weather forecast doesn't have us getting but low 40s and upper 50s until the 30th, and so I'm going to try to start going up on the heat a little bit, and after the first of the year I'll fill my tanks and for sure enough start keeping the heat up and taking some cuttings and get those started. The job I did today, and that was just more or less to get me up off my ass. It's something I'd planned on doing for some years now, and I mow what I can, and one of the hardest things for me is picking up limbs, and so I mow between them and make some little paths and all through. And then today I got out here and took my time, brought a chair out and sat and watched it burn out and drank a beer. And between the smoke there and the smoke I inhaled, had a good day. Because I stayed out of that pine smoke, because that will give me a headache. But didn't burn as good as I wished it would, but ain't near as much there now. And the wind's out of the east, and that's looking west. And so I set this area to start with, and I've been mowing around it for a couple of years now in here. It was where I had cut some trees down from over in that area, some of those bigger pines and all, for some firewood a couple of years ago. And then something happened that I never did get all the limbs and the tops and all picked up, and so the other stuff has grown up within the last few years, and just never did get it done. But I hope before it starts growing back out, I'll get out here and cut the stubble out right there with my loppers and the little chainsaw and get it where I can run across it with the riding mower. And I used to have all this cleared up, and I would love to get back to it. There's some beautyberry bushes out there and numbers of other things that have just got grown up. It's like on my back hill back here. My dam right there is washed out this year, and so this is the first year I can't even as so much as ride the lawnmower back there to the back hill right now. And the pond, they said this morning on the weather radio that the drought was broke. We're not in a drought condition, but I'm still about 2 foot below average on where my water level should be on the pond. And within the time I've been on Facebook, this was all cleared up all the way around the pond. And I have the equipment to do it if I can get the energy to do it. And so I hope one day I can get a little bit more of it cleaned up than what I keep clean now. I just try to knock some of it down, where if I did have somebody that wanted to throw a line in the water, because there is fish in the pond, some pretty nice bass are in there, or were in there, and they ain't swum out. They may have died for the water being low, but they hadn't swum anywhere. So anyway, that's what my day has been so far. It's just I wanted to walk back out here and check on my fire. There's a fat lighter stump, and not everybody knows what fat lighter is, but in South Georgia here and other parts of the country where there's this type of pine tree, it's what they around here they chipped them and had caught the pine tar and cooked it down into turpentine, and some other products. I can't remember all of it. The stumps, there was a company over in Brunswick, Georgia, Hercules, and they made gunpowder and dynamite at one time, and they used the fat lighter stumps in some way to make gunpowder and dynamite, but I don't know just where the additives are or anything about any of that. Chloe thinks she sees something. What is it, Chloe, baby? You got an animal? You got an animal in there? Probably just a bird. But we still have some rabbits around. I wish so much, and I've thought about trying to post a video on some of our local community sites and see if I could get anybody that was interested in trying to help me garden. It hasn't worked out in some of the years past, but it's something I just hate to see it growed up so bad, and it is so rich, and the water lines are run and what have you. So something I may do a video and try to post about doing it. I'm all out of okra in the house, and I do love okra. In the last years that we were doing the garden, I was cutting 2 bushels a day. But anyway, that's what's going on, and I'm going to stop the video with that and try to get on back to the house, get all the tools put up, and call it a day. Blessings, everyone. Happy Yule tide. Many blessings.